we're going to do like instead of a YouTube thumbnail, we're going to be marketing with like a movie poster to advertise the dock. And we're also thinking about dropping a trailer for it instead of just uploading the video randomly.
Yeah, and there might be a little something extra.
I mean, should we just... We don't have to give exact details, but this is a good feeler we could ask.
Yeah.
The viewers, listeners, do I have a green light?
Green light.
Okay.
Welcome!
I want to start off today with some very tragic news.
That was fast.
Yeah.
Welcome to Recycle Bin?
Welcome to that. That's the tragic news. You're with Recycle Bin. Okay. Did you know Apple just put the iPhone XS Max on their obsolete list?
Specifically the Max?
Yeah, I don't know why. You would think, because the
Not
XS Max came out with the XS as well, and you would think...
It's just a Max? Really?
Yeah.
You sure?
Apple has now classified the iPhone 6S Plus, weird choice, and XS Max as vintage worldwide. They consider the device to be vintage once 5 years has passed since the company stopped distributing it for sale. So how did the iPhone 6S get timed up with the XS Max? I brought my XS because this is like, feel it.
Yeah, I know. I
It's so
play with it all
comfortable
the time.
compared to like what we have to use now. What we have to use.
I really like it. It's like, I think it's the greatest designed phone of all time, probably. If they just came
Have you
back
heard of the iPhone 4 by chance?
Now, come on now.
Okay.
If they came out with this, with just an updated like dynamic island and updated internals and USB-C, I'd buy it immediately.
It's so comfy to hold, and also the Band-Aid gold color really aged well, I think.
Band-Aid gold.
Yeah, I used to think like this, the back specifically kind of looks like Band-Aid color.
A little bit.
But like the chamfered edges and the gold, so
you
pretty.
can't even call that chamfered. That's just round.
It is just round. You're right. The round edges.
Yeah, chamfered
beautiful.
is like now. That's just round.
Look
I love
at that camera, though.
Yeah, I wonder if it comes through on video.
Oh, yeah. YouTube.com/recyclebin if you want to see the video version of this show.
This is a XS, right?
Don't look at them.
Sorry, I was looking
Don't look at them.
I'm looking at the phone.
They're
in
not
the camera.
here. It's just us. They're not even allowed in here.
Welcome to Recycle Bin.
Welcome to Recycle Bin. You run the show, so what are we talking about?
I got a few things.
I just blew my whole load right there.
Okay, well.
Yeah. You're welcome.
We have been in the midst of some nonsense. I'll cover that in a second. I just got to tell you, the weirdest thing happened to me this morning.
Okay.
I woke up hungover. I know, you're confused. I get it.
Go on. I was with you last night. There was no alcohol.
No, well, after you had left, I had a single hard seltzer.
Oh, okay.
One.
Uno?
I woke up hungover. From one little, 4.25%
What
alcohol.
made you dabble?
I just had it. I was like, I'm kind of thirsty, and
I'm kind of thirsty.
I'm in the mood to we just have that in the fridge.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, why not?
I have done that at your house too. Like when I was eating dinner and I'm like, I'm going to choke. I need something to drink. I grabbed a hard seltzer because it was just like the closest thing. I didn't wake up hungover though, but I don't think I finished it either.
Oh, I finished it, and I had eaten it. Dude, I'm just surprised. I don't drink alcohol regularly. That's probably why.
Vitamins are much better.
Oh yeah, vitamins are much better. But yeah, I had to bring that up because I woke up with a headache and a little bit of nausea. I'm like, what
Did you immediately know what was going on? Or
yeah, I stood up and there's that specific for people who have ever been hungover, it's that specific feeling in your eyes, the back of your eyes are like, oh shit. You feel gross and that floored me. That I'm 30.
That's probably why you got hungover.
Probably
because you're 30.
Oh God.
Yeah, and we don't I could go the rest of my life without a sip of alcohol.
Probably me too. The reason I thought of this actually was you talking about the XS Max being vintage now.
Okay.
And that made me feel so old.
Oh.
This still feels like such a modern, I'm sure using a XS now is the worst experience.
Yeah, maybe.
But this feels like modern Apple to me. Still, this doesn't feel vintage.
It's much comfier. It's thinner.
My brain, when I think vintage iPhone, I'm still thinking iPhone 5S, 5, back and backwards.
Yeah. Do you remember the slate gray on the original iPhone 5?
No.
Goodness gracious.
I really don't.
Maybe the best color Apple has ever used, and they only use it that 1 year.
Really?
The iPhone 5S.
Oh yeah,
the iPhone 5S
shit.
got changed slightly. Like the back was lighter.
I think are you? Oh yeah, iPhone 5 slate. Yeah,
Slate
yeah. The
gray.
5S was space gray.
Yeah,
and then there's
the slate gray,
dude.
bro. Oh my goodness.
Well, it was just called slate, I think.
I don't know if we've ever told this story.
Slate black.
Do you remember
maybe.
what happened to my iPhone 5? No, 5. Just 5.
Is that what happened with
The headphone jack?
Yeah, the headphone jack.
Yeah. So like,
yeah.
just to tell the audience, I had an iPhone 5. I got it. Not on launch day, but like I think within the same week.
Mm-hmm.
Back when you could just walk into Verizon and sign a contract and get the phone for $200.
Oh yeah.
So that's what I did, and I had it, loved it, greatest color ever. It was the first iPhone that I had that was like new, because my first iPhone was the iPhone 4, but that was like maybe halfway into the life cycle
dated,
of that.
Yeah, you got the 5 on like release or whatever.
And we had this mutual friend named Fayez, and he had, what was he driving? That green Pontiac.
What year was this? Like 2011?
No, we had graduated.
Oh, so
right? Yeah, it was 2012. I think it was the year we graduated.
Oh yeah, an iPhone released in probably September. We graduated in like June.
Yeah,
dude.
What did you drive? A Pontiac?
It was a
Grand Am.
Grand Am. Yeah.
Green, like 1998 car, I think.
I think it was.
And he had one of those like. You remember back in the day? This is going to sound insane to people who had no idea that these existed.
Okay.
They were cassette tapes.
Oh yeah.
That went into the cassette tape slot in your car, but at the end of the cassette tape was an aux cord,
like a 3.5 millimeter.
Yeah, so it would just like
yeah.
hang out of the cassette slot, and you could plug that into your phone. It would feed the audio from your phone through that cord through the cassette through the car.
Oh yeah, and just before you continue, like that's not even the limit on how ridiculous technology was at the time to like get your phone audio. There was one that it was a Bluetooth thing that broadcasted a radio frequency.
Oh,
remember that?
Kind of, vaguely.
It hooked up to your phone and it broadcasted your phone audio on a radio frequency that your stereo could tune into.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm sure there was like obviously Bluetooth and stuff then, but for us, for that age group, I don't know what kids drive now, but like all of us, that was the thing. We all had like cars from the 90s. That was everyone's first car.
That's a great question. Yeah, I remember one of our friends who was like pretty well off. His family was like wealthy. He had like an 80-something like Beretta.
Yeah.
And they had no paint on it.
Do you think kids are just getting new cars now?
No, I bet they're probably driving
or
like
something?
2013 like Civics or something.
Oh,
but anyway, so
our parents just put us in metal toolboxes and hope for the best.
They really were.
Hope the airbags work.
Death boxes, yeah.
So at some point, I don't know how it happened, but the end of the 3.5 aux cord snapped.
Yeah, as they do.
Off into the phone.
Mm-hmm.
To where like the actual connector was flush with the bottom of the bottom. Was it the bottom or the top of that phone?
It was like as the bottom.
Was flush with that, so you couldn't I couldn't pull it out, and that kicked off a few weeks of horrible
Nonsense.
attempts to try to get that out. At one point, I think I had a tiny little drill bit, and I tried to drill into the thing and then pull it out. That didn't work. A lot of things. The bottom of the phone was all scratched up from me trying to do this.
I remember you were at Fayez's house trying to fix it, and I remember you had the phone like a vice.
Yes. I think because I did get it out.
You did. How did you get it out?
I took it to Verizon, and they used Silly Putty.
I was going to say, yeah, like nowadays, it's almost like common knowledge that like hot glue or stuff like that is like what you use.
Oh, yeah, I did use hot glue.
Yeah.
I did try the hot glue thing, and that did not work.
Wow.
That did not work.
I can't believe Silly Putty worked. Maybe it was a special, retrieval.
There's two questions there, like how did the Silly Putty work, and also why does Verizon have Silly Putty?
Probably for that reason.
Probably to get like dust and stuff out of the...
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that was common back then. Like, think about what those people went through in that era of cell phones.
Around that same time, I remember Fayez had an iPhone 3GS.
Really?
And
good Lord.
At some point, don't know why, I'm sure it was horrible, stupid shenanigans, we lost his phone. Like, we got to... Because I used to lift at his house. He had like a gym downstairs. Yeah. So... and it was winter time, so it was dark early, and he lost his phone. And we started driving back, like looking for it, calling it, and it was on the side of the road in the snow.
Yeah,
and it worked.
That's crazy.
It worked perfectly.
Good Lord. that just like takes me back. I feel like that era. I just remembered something when you were telling that story too. Didn't you have an iPhone 4S that the back blew up on, or an iPhone 4?
Yes, that was my.
Like the back glass
that was
exploded.
Also the year we graduated, and it was before the iPhone 5 came out. Okay. So it was an iPhone 4S.
Yeah.
And I had a job at a convenience store, technically my last like real job.
Mm-hmm. Traditional job.
And you guys would come over late at night.
Yeah, we would.
And because I worked
You worked
close.
until like 1 or 2 a.m. That's fucking sucked. We just used to, because we were just high schoolers who had just graduated, we didn't have like, we didn't respect our own time. Me and a mutual friend would just go hang out at the store with you from like 10 p.m. until you
respect
left.
Your time? What do you have anything better to do?
That's what I'm saying. No, we didn't.
There was free pizza. Yeah. There was no one else. There was no customers at that store.
The pizza was old.
It's not my fault you came late.
I'm just saying, we hung out with you for like, we should have been getting paid part-time, is how long we were there. I remember cleaning up that fucking store because I was like, this is messy. I started sweeping.
This is not even like, this is not tech related, but I have a good story about that.
Oh, we gotta wait. We gotta tell about the iPhone exploding.
Okay, so I had an iPhone 4S. It's late at night.
Yeah,
and it died. Shocker. And so this is either going to surprise people or not be a surprise at all.
Yeah, 50-50.
I didn't have a charger with me. So what I did was I hooked a car charger up to a car battery.
How did you even...
And I plugged it into the phone.
How did you even do that?
The surge from the battery shot straight up and shattered the back of the phone.
It must have like puffed up the battery or something.
Well, there was nothing like regulating how much charge was going in that phone because I plugged it into a whole car battery and it was just like just destroyed the phone. But that allowed me to do something real cool because back then, on Amazon you could get like a bunch of weird stuff, and at this stage you could take the phones apart still.
Oh yeah, they just had screws on the bottom.
Yeah, there was screws on the bottom of the phone that you could take. You could just slide the back off once you did that.
Are the screws still there on like the modern iPhone 16? Can you still do that?
No.
Okay, I didn't think so. It's all unibody.
Well, and it's unibody. Yeah. They you could just slide the back of the phone off.
People used to change the rails on the iPhone 4 and stuff too. I remember that.
No, they would get bumpers.
Bumpers, right?
Yeah, bumper cases. Because weren't the bumper cases the solution to you're holding it wrong? Wasn't that the reason?
It was part of it. Yeah, it would help.
Apple, I think Apple put out a bumper case. Like that's how it started. Anyway, back of the phone explodes, and on Amazon you could buy alternative backs.
Yeah.
And like with the Apple logo on them and everything. And so
I remember that.
I bought a clear glass back for the phone for like 2 cents or something, and then put it on it looked so fucking cool. If I can find a picture, because I'm sure there's like pictures on Google, I'll include it. It was so cool. That was the coolest thing.
You know, talking about that specific phone, I'm tied to that phone. You realize?
Go on.
I ended up with that phone.
Oh, did you really?
Yeah, that was my first iPhone.
With the clear back on it too?
Nope. Oh. At the time that I got it, for some reason, honestly, your cheap Amazon back may have just shattered again.
Okay, probably.
Because it had a brushed, like aluminum back.
Holy shit, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I had that. That was my first iPhone. And I remember... I was such a broke kid at the time, like college kid, like first year of college. My cell phone service was some shady SIM card that I just found online. You remember that?
Was it Google Fi or like Straight Talk?
No, dude. This was like, I can't remember the name at all, but it was pretty suspicious. And it was like phone service for like, at the time, it was between like $5 and $15 a month. What? But like the signal was atrocious.
Huh.
It was so sketch. I remember my iPhone in the top left, you know, when it used to say like the network. I don't know if it still does. Oh, it does. Okay. I don't even think about this stuff anymore.
Yeah.
It used to say like, it would just be random characters sometimes. It would change.
Oh, I do kind of remember it.
Yeah. It was so suspicious.
I mean, it worked sometimes.
And I had to pay it with like a weird service too. Like I couldn't just pay it with my card. I needed to like
what?
I think I was laundering money for these people.
Probably.
But yeah, so
I think I was using Straight Talk around that time, which at that time felt like a life cheat code.
It was just cheap. Yeah, now it's
10-15 bucks a month.
Yeah,
like,
now Mint
so
Mobile's
sweet.
around. There's tons of different cheap services that are like
MVNOs.
Whoa, look at
Mobile
you.
Virtual Private Network.
Look at you
Yeah.
using right terms.
Wait, MVN. No,
You
mobile.
You should have just left with the confidence, and I wouldn't have questioned it.
Mobile Virtual Network Operator.
I'll take your word for it.
Okay, good. What was I going to say? It was
don't know.
important. I thought it was important.
It's probably gone. We're recording a little early in the day.
You know what I'll do?
What's that?
I'll think about what it is, and while I'm thinking, I'll send them to an ad.
That's a good idea.
Okay, we'll be back.
You know, Jern, one of my favorite things is food.
The food is great, yeah.
Food is great.
The best.
And that's why today's episode of Recycle Bin is brought to you by HelloFresh.
Yay, we love HelloFresh.
The holiday season is quickly approaching. I mean, it's happening now. And everybody is looking for any ways to cut back, spend less, and stress less. HelloFresh makes mealtime nearly hassle-free with delicious, home-delivered, chef-crafted recipes that come together quick and are less expensive than takeout.
Oh, Bern, I love HelloFresh.
Me too.
It's the best. Have you heard of HelloFresh Market, by the way?
I haven't.
Over 100 add-on items like desserts, quick breakfasts, snacks, and a lot more. This month, they even have Thanksgiving items to help wow a crowd with minimal effort on your part. Not that anyone else has to know. You can keep a secret just between you and HelloFresh.
Okay, I love that. If for some reason you live under a rock and you don't know, HelloFresh is America's favorite meal kit service.
And mine.
They make everything so much easier. I've personally used HelloFresh a lot in the past. I know you have too.
Oh yeah, it's the best.
Especially, like, I got a baby. I got a little guy running around. It's really hard to plan meals with that little guy running around. HelloFresh takes it all out of the equation. It just shows up, and you just make the food. You follow along. You get to keep their cute little recipe cards. It truly is just a time and a stress saver.
The best thing about HelloFresh, and this is like how I like to pitch it always.
Yeah.
When you go to, let's say you want a hot dog today. All right?
Yeah.
You go to the store, you buy hot dog buns. How many hot dog buns are you buying?
Too many.
You can't buy just one. HelloFresh is shipping you just the right amount of ingredients that you need for that meal. No more, no less. And they didn't tell me to say this, but like the vegetables that HelloFresh gives you they're like next level. They
really
don't
are.
taste like at the store. It's like the farmer dropped it off right at your front door.
Agreed.
And guess what? Special deal for you guys. Wow, I just saw the deal and I'm upset because I did not get this deal. But they can. They can get 10 free meals. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 free meals at HelloFresh.com/free recycle bin. We're locked up. We need help.
Yep.
Free recycle bin. That's applied across 7 boxes. New subscribers only. It varies by plan. That's 10 free HelloFresh meals. Just go to HelloFresh.com/free recycle bin.
Thank you, HelloFresh.
America's #1 meal kit.
Oh, yeah. Welcome back
And
from
we're
that
back.
impromptu ad break.
And I absolutely remember what I was going to say.
You did. Look at you.
I wanted to tell the story because I could be wrong. We've been doing this for 12 years.
Sure.
I don't think at some point that we've told the story of how I got my first iPhone or why.
I don't know. I don't think I know the story.
You will once I say it.
Oh, okay.
So I had a website called Geek Basics.
Every time you talk about it, you get a little embarrassed.
Yeah, I had a website called Geek Basics. The X is at the end, and that's important.
You're correct.
BASIX. Very important.
Yeah. That's
It was
the
a
branding.
personal brand.
Yeah.
It was important.
Important.
And at that time, the website, like, that version of me considered it popular.
It was. I mean, that was your own website.
Yeah, it had like a few thousand views a month.
That's crazy for a high schooler. Like,
And I had tried multiple websites before that got 0 views a month. So having anybody there was like really cool. And basically what Geek Basics was, I started it in 2008.
yeah.
So a couple years after YouTube. And
You were like 14, 15. Like,
Yeah.
to put it in perspective, this is wild for that era.
Oh yeah, and
People were just making MySpaces for the first time.
100% straight up HTML.
You built that site.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the whole point of it was, the concept was you could go on Geek Basics, search any technical problem that you have, usually with a PC or something,
Yeah.
and there will be a video that comes up that will teach you how to fix that problem. It was just like,
Tech support.
yeah, people could submit their YouTube videos. Like, yeah, you could go on YouTube and do that, but this was like organized and it was this is the niche. Every video you search for is a solution to the problem you're looking for, and that was the whole thing. And anyone could submit any video they wanted.
Yeah.
They couldn't upload it because I couldn't figure that out, so I would have them fill out a form to upload it, but it would really just email me the link to it, so then I could make sure it was good, and then camera just died.
Oh, look, it's not plugged in. See that there?
We'll be right back. Why? It's not plugged in. God damn it!
What the fuck?
All right, we're back.
We're back.
No problem.
I just need the audience to know, right where the camera is, the plug for it was just unplugged by a power strip. It just wasn't
just sitting next
in.
to it. Oh, before we forget, because I just saw this on the table, because we have masking tape on the table with a phone number.
Yeah.
This podcast is yours. 404-919-5530. If you call that number, you can leave us a voice message and then hopefully make it on the show. Don't text it. We're not going to read your text.
But call us.
The number.
Yeah.
Free in the U.S., obviously. If you're not in the U.S., don't call it and spend money. Use a VoIP service like Skype or Google Voice or something like that. Yeah. 404-919-5530. Call, ask us anything. If it's good, you'll be on next week's show.
Except for this one.
Except for this one.
We actually have a good bit to talk about. So no voicemails today, guys, but a lot of us talking.
A lot of us. What was I saying before
you
the
were
camera
telling us
killed
about
itself?
Geek Basics and why that ended up with you getting your first iPhone.
They were able to upload it. And then I would put it on the website.
Yeah.
They couldn't upload it. They would email it to me.
Okay.
I put it on the website. And I used to have not real ads on the website. But because I wasn't old enough to sign up for something like AdSense or anything like that.
Yeah.
But I would do affiliate stuff. And if I didn't have an ad, I still wanted the website. I was young. I still wanted the website to look professional or legit. So I would put images where the ads are supposed to go. And in that time of my life, I was one of those nerds in school that was I would post pictures of the Android pissing on the Apple logo.
Oh, yeah.
So I had those all over the website and stuff. And I would do polls on the website. And some people, I asked about Android and iPhone, and the tens of people that were using that website they were like, you should try an iPhone, because I'd never tried one.
Yeah.
And they let me know that I think at the time, I don't know what it is now, but Verizon had a 14-day period where if you didn't like it, you could return your phone and get a different one.
They still have that, yeah.
So that's what I did. I was like, okay, I'll give it a shot for 14 days. I think I was coming from an HTC Thunderbolt, so the first 4G LTE phone for Verizon.
Dual speakers, I think, at the time?
I don't know if that one had dual speakers.
That was a sweet-ass phone, dude.
It was, except it had a 2-hour battery.
No dual speakers.
If you guys remember this phone from back in the day, the HTC Thunderbolt, you're also going to think about there was a plastic external battery that you could get.
Oh,
so the back of the phone had this big hump because the battery literally lasted a couple hours, maybe. And you could get it to last.
There it is. Yeah, I remember this. Holy shit.
You could get it to last 4 hours with that.
Yeah.
It had a kickstand on the back. It was awesome.
HTC was so fucking cool, man.
Yeah. God, really great. So I was coming from that phone. I went to Verizon. I got an iPhone 4. And within the first day was sweet Christ. I just remember how responsive it felt.
Yeah, they got you.
I mean, you guys have to remember how Android was at that time.
It was
especially
the Wild
on
West.
Suboptimal hardware, and not only was Android on the Thunderbolt, but also it was their fork of it. So it had crazy UI elements and stuff. And the cool thing about that phone was, I remember when you unlocked it, if it was raining, a windshield wiper would go across the screen and wipe the rain out. It was so cute and cool.
So much personality it made up for the shortcomings in a lot of ways.
Yeah. So the iPhone 4 was crazy responsive. I remember just my first time swiping home screens, and just it felt like magic almost.
Yeah, man.
And the weather app was beautifully animated.
I love just watching that app. Yeah. I remember that.
It was so good.
You had the beer drinking app.
Yeah, and the flashlight one, and something else. Anyway, a lightsaber one.
Yeah.
Anyway, that was my first iPhone, and I continued using iPhone until iPhone 6S, and then because iOS 7 was terrible.
Then you jumped back, right?
Yeah, iOS 7 was terrible, so I gave up on iOS and I went with a OnePlus 3,
Something.
OnePlus 2 or 3.
Yeah,
I can't remember.
That's when OnePlus was awesome too. I had the first OnePlus, the OnePlus One.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
When?
When I worked at Best Buy, a girl I worked with was using it, and I was like in the market for a new phone.
Okay.
And I bought it off of her, and it was pretty fucking cool. And I went through my own Android obsession, like that was just the era for it. I remember
you had a Nexus device.
I had a Nexus 6P.
Yeah, it was so big.
I had the first Nexus too on T-Mobile.
Oh, and you had the Nexus
I still have
4.
Yeah, or no, I'm sorry, I didn't have the first one. You're right. I had the Nexus 4.
Oh, beautiful
with
phone.
the sparkly back.
Yeah.
Android was just different back then, man. I don't know. It felt like you know what? It felt like what Apple felt like originally. It felt like rebellious and kind of exciting and like, ooh, look at what weird shit this thing could do.
Yeah.
But yeah, it quickly just became just a different type of phone ecosystem.
Somehow we got more poor
Yeah.
from that point. And like I remember I had my OnePlus phone for maybe a year or so.
Uh-huh.
And then I worked with Verizon, and they sent a Galaxy S8?
I think so.
Or something like that.
Yeah, didn't you break it immediately?
Not immediately, but I did break it at your apartment.
How did you do it?
I was in the back seat, and you wanted to throw something away, so we were leaving, and it was like raining or something, and you drove up to the dumpster, and I jumped out of the car real fast to throw it away, and it fell out of my lap and shattered.
And that phone was famously all glass.
Oh, yeah. And it was like, that was when it went all the way to the edges, there was like 0 bezels, and yeah.
And 0 places to take a fucking hit.
Yeah, so I obviously I didn't have insurance on that or any, because it was just given to me by Verizon. So I wasn't paid for it. Verizon didn't give me money.
No, they just say, here you go. Here's a fucking phone.
That was sweet.
Well, I mean,
to get a free phone.
Yeah, that was still like a $700 phone at the time. That was a big deal for us.
Yeah. So after that, I bought still one of my favorite phones. I think it's the Honor 8,
which is insane to say.
Honor is. I don't know if they're still around, but they were a sub-brand of Huawei.
Huawei, yeah, I think.
And it was like, again, thin, glass back and front, had a fingerprint scanner on the center back of the phone that also doubled as like a gesture thing for notifications and stuff.
That was a big deal back then, yeah.
Oh, such a pretty phone. Dear God. Oh, and it had an IR blaster.
That's
so I could control TVs. It was really cool. And then I remember from that phone, you were working at Best Buy at the time, and I had walked in and I saw one of those Sony phones.
Yeah, it was the Ericsson.
It was giant, white, had a giant like forehead and chin, but it was like very squared off, and that just looks so appealing to me, and it was like $250. So I bought that, and then this is when I jumped back on.
When you came back.
Yeah, and I haven't left since.
Whoa, this is the phone that the iPhone XS is the phone that brought you back to Apple. That's a great entry.
iPhone 4
point.
brought me in. iPhone XS brought me back.
iPhone 7 was my return. But I can't, honestly, I'm blanking because when I worked at Best Buy, I was like, I got some really good deals on. I worked in the mobile department, so I had some pretty solid deals. I would just go pop, 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 swapping around all the time.
Oh, well, I'm jealous.
Yeah, I mean it worked out. But yeah, my wife had a OnePlus X at the time. That phone was fucking cool.
Yeah.
She broke it in a hilarious way.
Go on.
She got into her car at the time, and she was a little frustrated, I think, at her job. And
imagine.
She, like, plugged her phone in, because, aux at the time, right? And then, like, to listen to music. And then she, like, tossed it into the passenger seat lightly.
Okay.
But she, like, just slightly clipped the seatbelt. The metal part of the seatbelt shattered the phone. It was like
that's unfortunate.
It was like, have you seen when people escape like a car and they have to use one of those little tools to break the window? It's like as soon as like these tools are so specialized, it's like as soon as they hit the tempered glass or whatever, it just goes.
Yeah.
It was like that.
That's unfortunate.
The fucking thing just...
When's the last time you broke a phone?
I don't know.
That was a lot of back-to-back stories of breaking stuff, but I haven't...
I don't really think I've ever broken a phone, honestly. I've been a really good boy with phones. I baby them, I guess. I don't know.
With AppleCare, you get like 2 exchanges a year for $100.
Yeah.
And usually that's like my iPhone 12, I think, within a week, I went on vacation, I dropped it on the ground and then immediately stepped on it.
You have such bad luck.
And that was sent by D brand. But I did have AppleCare on it, so I got that exchanged.
Goodness gracious.
My iPhone 13, I think, I shattered the back of it towards the end. Towards the end of having it. Yeah, I forget how that happened. Oh, I remember I shattered the back of it on accident. Mm-hmm. And then since I was going to get it replaced with AppleCare, right before I did that, don't tell Apple, Sam and I were doing this thing for April Fools where we would swap channels once a year.
Yeah.
And on his channel, for some reason, not sure why, I did a bit where I took a hammer to the phone. And the comments were great. They're like, oh my God, he just really committed to that. He just shattered the back of his phone, but it was already shattered.
Yeah.
And Apple replaced it because it was an accident.
I mean, clearly.
Definitely an accident.
It was already broken.
Yeah, exactly.
The hammer fell on it.
Yeah, it fell down the stairs.
I hope everybody's enjoying like this like memory lane episode of Recycle Bin.
Yeah, this was not planned.
Well, it's actually funny because the reason that there's no voicemails is because we have been in like the creative trenches with this video that we're working on, and I feel like what's happening on Recycle Bin right now, story time and just relaxing, is like in backlash to how creatively stressed we are.
Oh, well, and then also this is our place to do that. Like I've been seeing a lot of comments lately that are talking about how people are really enjoying Recycle Bin because we're both calm,
relaxing. We're chatting. Yeah.
For people unaware, so this is going to be on YouTube, youtube.com/recyclebin. The subscribers there, it may seem like you haven't had an episode in a while, but the audio feed has been getting updated. It just, not having a video feels weird. So we're trying something new, and not highly produced, just so you have it. And
yeah, I hope people enjoy it. I mean, I've been wanting, last week's episode, we tried a video version, and I threw it together too quickly.
Yeah, it was out of focus the whole time.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, that's, ironically, the studio camera never leaves autofocus except when we were filming the event video. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because in that Recycle Bin episode, we said at that time when it was recorded, which I think was the day after the election, we were talking about how we had 2 videos that we were like in the process of starting.
Yeah.
And that has devolved into
one really fucking big, massive project.
Like, people that have heard me hype stuff up know that I don't just say stuff for the marketing aspect of it. This is the best thing we have ever put out, and I feel like we say that every month, which is a good sign. But like, legitimately, now, like, as we're working on this, we've gone back and like peeked at the Tim Cook documentary, and it kind of feels amateur-y, like
comparatively.
Yeah, like this is next level shit that we're working on. I'm very excited for people to see it. I'm excited to see it completed.
Yeah, I've never been this proud of anything I've written. So it's just it feels really good. We're creatively and like work-wise like buried right now, but very fulfilled. It's just a lot.
We're going to try a few new things with this project. One, because it deserves it.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if people can tell, but we're trying to step away from the tropes of YouTube a little bit. And so for this video, Recycle Bin viewers and listeners, you get a little like Scoopy. Inside baseball. So that's cute. Scoops. I just feel like you guys are you're watching every video and then spending an hour plus with us a week. Like,
it's a lot.
It's a lot of your time, so thank you. We're going to try a more legitimate marketing approach for this.
Yeah.
So for this video, we'll just be straight up. It's another documentary. It's the second it's the only documentary since the Tim Cook doc. Like the only one that we would actually call a documentary.
The FBT docs, like the docs playlist on the channel, has a few videos in it, but this is really the only legit successor to the Tim Cook doc, I'd say. Yeah.
And it's almost a prequel, you could say.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah.
So we're going to do instead of a YouTube thumbnail, we're going to be marketing with a movie poster to advertise the doc. And we're also thinking about dropping a trailer for it instead of just uploading the video randomly.
Yeah. And there might be a little something extra.
I mean, should we don't have to give exact details, but this is a good feeler. We could ask the viewers, listeners, do I have a green light?
Green light.
Okay. With this, we are thinking about experimenting with a little bit of a subscription. So,
well, you want to just come out and say it?
Yeah.
Go ahead, you do it.
Okay.
I'm nervous.
We're going to be experimenting with a Patreon specifically for FPT docs.
Yeah.
Very, very simple. Something like, for one cost for one of the tiers, you're just you get to support what we're doing, and in exchange, you get the documentaries with no ads and a week early. So already pretty good.
Yeah, I'd say so.
The next and final tier, there's only 2 tiers, not too complicated.
No.
The next and final tier gets your name as a producer in the actual credits of the documentary.
Yeah.
And we know there are a few people on Patreon that will use a $3-5, get your name in the video, and then they'll just show a frame of 1,000 names.
Yeah.
And I really like that. I think that's really inclusive and fun. But for the documentaries, I want it to feel special. I want it to feel so for $10 a month, you get your name in the actual credits, and because it's $10, hopefully, I mean, I won't complain if there's 1,000 of those people either, but hopefully, that'll feel a little bit more limited and
exclusive,
special, and to have your then you'll be able to send it to your family members and go, look, I'm the producer of this documentary. It'll just be cute. So as a listener, as a viewer, especially if you're watching on YouTube, let us know in the comments what your thoughts are on that. If you vibe with that, and if you guys hate it, we'll know early.
Yeah,
before we tell everyone else.
Whenever. I feel like everybody and their mom has a Patreon these days, or some type of supplementary channel membership or whatever.
Yeah.
But when it comes to these doc videos, we are legitimately we're so torn because we are putting our heart and souls into this.
Yeah.
I personally have not stopped thinking about this fucking project.
Yeah.
Since the idea was okay, we're going to make this. And it's been obsessive for me. And it's I love that, but also it's not exactly great for business because it's we're not. I mean, we're so in this.
It can be good for business, and I think it will be. It's just the risks that we're taking covering this topic.
Yeah.
There's just we want to take more actual journalistic approaches to stuff, and sometimes that requires us to dabble in more serious topics.
Creative risks.
Yeah. So this idea was actually conceived of, I think, the night of the Tim Doc release.
I think it was actually when we went out to dinner to celebrate that release. Yeah.
So it's been in the queue for a while, but it was one of those, just seeing it sitting there in Notion was intimidating enough to where whenever we do this, we got to have enough time to do this, and got to be able to afford to do this, and because to do this we have to stop making. Because at the time when the Tim Doc came out, we were still putting out regular episodes of Front Page Tech,
which is crazy.
It's funny because in that meeting, we went to Olive Garden, had a little business meeting to reevaluate.
You
things.
threw up. It was great. Yeah,
I did. It was fantastic. In that meeting, we discussed spending the next year. So the Tim Doc came out in January 3rd, I think.
Of this year?
Yeah.
Good Lord.
Yeah. So we had a discussion about that was a lovely night.
It was.
Because we took vitamins with us on this meeting, so we had to Uber there and back just for safety.
That's so funny. I forgot that. Holy shit.
Yeah. So the idea was we wanted to start to scale back Front Page Tech, the show, and we wanted to spend this year putting stuff out that would prove to you guys, the audience, that we would be fine, you would be fine, the channel would be fine without the tech news show.
Yeah, going more towards the produced
we were gonna
essay doc
we were
style.
going to try to like phase it out, and it happened way faster. Like
I think we got excited.
Yeah, we wanted to like end this year with an announcement that the Front Page Tech show is like done.
Yeah, and when we're just to be clear, the tech news, like 3 episodes a week, just talking tech news, funny jokes, in, out. That's the show we're referring to.
Yeah.
Like specifically.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to say that it's never coming back, but it doesn't feel, right now it doesn't feel like it is.
The biggest thing is that it just doesn't feel good to, we've been making that specific piece of content.
For a decade.
And like creating these long form docs, having more creative liberties and freedom.
This
with
looks
stuff.
like we have a sponsorship from Pepsi the way I set that up.
Not yet. But like it's been so fulfilling creatively, and like truly, I felt this immediately when the Tim Doc went out. Like it wasn't like you guys were turning on the tech news show, but like some of the reception was mixed, and it was like
for the Tim Doc?
No, hang on. Before the Tim Doc, like the show itself, we weren't getting a lot of negative comments, but it was kind of like we were getting burned out, and it almost felt like the viewers were getting burned out too.
Well, we're very lucky. We have a very unique audience that like watches literally everything. 50% of the subscribers are watching
everything.
Like I'm sure there's more of a percentage just watching every other video or something. 50% of you are showing up every video, and that's crazy.
It's awesome, and you're very vocal, and I love it. And as soon as the Tim Doc went out, and like videos similar in that style, it's been nonstop positivity. Like it feels like it feels like we took a risk, and it's like it's paying off for us creatively, but also everybody loves it.
Yeah,
like we have never had so much positivity on the channel in the entire time it's been around.
Comments that are talking about like, I can't believe I just watched this on YouTube for free.
Yeah.
Like that's the feeling that I want to chase. Like
yeah, we're addicted, I think.
Like okay, with this documentary, I'm just gonna be straight up. There's been times in our career where I have said we're making really good stuff, and I was absolutely wrong. Like where I was very confident,
objectively incorrect.
Yeah, and it was just for a while we were like, why is no one watching? We're making the best tech news show, and it just wasn't true.
Yeah.
But I think we have enough experience, and we've done this enough times to be confident in saying this is not the best documentary that's ever been made, but it is certainly the best piece of content we have ever made.
Yeah.
And I would argue, in fact, people that have in our circle that have seen bits of this documentary, people that viewers and listeners would probably greatly respect the opinion of, have said like, this is something that should be on Netflix.
Yeah.
And I'm sure we could spend time pitching something like this to them, and not to say that money wouldn't be awesome.
Oh, yeah.
But like,
that's not what we want.
We don't want
that.
we want full creative control, and we don't just because we're changing, we don't want to change our relationship with you guys, the audience. We want you guys to still like be moving along with us. So all of this stuff is going to end up on YouTube, and you will be able to watch it for free.
Yeah.
It's just it's been a lot of work.
Mm-hmm.
It's been a lot. Like I don't think I've had this much fun. I haven't been this excited just to deliver like an actual experience for them to see.
Mm-hmm.
And like I remember last month when we were working on the event video, there was a point where I just needed it to be done.
Yeah.
But I think when this is done, I'm going to be sad.
Yeah, like looking for the void has it's like an important piece has left.
Yeah, like with the Tim Doc, we worked on that for 3-4 months.
Yeah.
And like when the edit actually started on that video, the footage was a year old. Or not a year old, sorry, a month old. The footage of me,
You're right.
the A-roll footage.
Good Lord, yeah.
This one is being made within a month.
Uh-huh.
But I think it's just because we've done it before.
We're more experienced, and I think we had a better idea of what we wanted this project to be.
Yeah.
I wanted to say that, like, it's so funny how, I think I just said it, like, I'm nervous to announce, like, a Patreon.
Oh, yeah. I mean, yeah.
Because it's like, just to be clear, and like the fact that I have to clarify this, I think is like indicative of my nerves, is like nothing on the YouTube channel is changing at all.
Yeah.
Everything is still getting uploaded the same way. There's not going to be like more ads or lesser quality or like, oh, everybody on YouTube only gets half a video now.
Yeah,
no, it's all the same
that's
stuff.
why I want to keep the Patreon very simple, because we want it to be clear that it's just an option.
Yeah.
The only difference is you'll be able to watch it without ads, and you'll be able to watch it a week early. That's it.
And like, honestly, and you know, there's also going to be behind the scenes stuff on there too.
Yeah, but like,
not
the initial,
yeah,
it's like in terms of what's different between watching it through Patreon or watching it on YouTube. The only difference is there's no ads.
Yeah, and
you get to see it first.
And right, and I think the biggest thing the hurdle I'm climbing over myself is that like I really do truly feel like what we're making now is like worth a Patreon.
I think so. Yeah.
Like I'm so proud of the work we're doing, but I never ever want to like ask the audience for stuff.
No, yeah, I think this is worth giving just the option to pitch in if you wanted.
And that just feels so crazy. Like I feel like every YouTuber, like I said, everybody has a Patreon, but it feels like such a cash grabby thing to do. But in reality,
just because.
Yeah, and
then they just sit there thinking of like weird, not actually valuable things to offer in a Patreon just for the sake of it.
And like, just to be fully transparent, us even coming up with this Patreon idea and moving forward with it, like,
was a hard one.
It's hard, and we're going outside of our comfort zone because we are so confident and excited to keep making this type of content.
Yeah.
It's just, okay, again, full transparency. We work with a company that gives us connections with advertisers and stuff.
Right.
It's kind of hard, like, to go to them and be like, hey, guess what? We're going to maybe upload once a month?
Yeah.
Sorry?
Yeah.
It's like...
Which, that's being worked on too. It's
yeah. It's just like...
We're having to change a lot of the YouTube tropes, like, single-handedly somehow.
Yeah. So, just know that with the launch of this Patreon, we're putting ourselves out there. Like, we feel pretty vulnerable about it.
Well, I mean, no joke. We have been talking about this for maybe over a month, and it was just yesterday when we decided, like, okay, let's actually.
Yeah, and like
we've been struggling.
Yeah, we feel pretty vulnerable putting it out there, and this isn't a cash grabby thing. It means a lot to us. Like, you guys mean a lot to us, and like your opinions of us professionally and creatively are what we live for.
Yeah.
So, like, even considering that, like, anybody would subscribe to a Patreon from us means the world.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, it's
crazy.
like,
some people that like watching us more casually, they won't think it's worth it, and they should absolutely not do that.
For sure.
Some people can't swing it this month or the next, or in that, like, I don't want anyone to feel like if they don't participate in the Patreon that they're going to be missing out or losing out.
No,
we just want to give some extra options for people that want to pitch in specifically for these projects, not like Front Page Tech, the YouTube channel.
Yeah.
We've tried Patreon in the past, which is why I think we kind of struggled with the idea. I think we kind of did some stuff wrong. Like the initial,
we weren't worth it. I mean, like, anything was worth it back then.
Yeah. Both times we tried Patreon in the past was for a show called FPT Extra. So Front Page Tech, the tech news show was going Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And then on Tuesdays and Thursdays, we were making an additional uncensored episode for Patreon subscribers. And that was cool. That was fun. But like, that is literally, those people are getting more content than the people that couldn't pay for it. And that we didn't take any public episodes away. They were still getting 3 episodes a week, but there was some backlash with that. And
understandably, like, and honestly, I'm subscribed to a few different Patreons for creators like I like, and the way I treat it is like, when I subscribe to a Patreon for somebody, I don't really care about the benefits and whatnot. It's like, I just appreciate the creator, and like a lot of the like, I'll just fucking say it. One of my favorite YouTubers, creators of all time is H-Bomber Guy.
Okay.
And if anybody, a lot of people, he has really popular videos, and a lot of people, if they watch him, they know he uploads maybe once a year.
Yeah, crazy.
I have been subscribed to his Patreon for a long time, just through sheer appreciation. It's just like, I want you to keep making this stuff.
Yeah.
And I know, like, one video a year is not sustainable for any human to live off of in a monetarily... Anyway.
Yeah.
In a money way. In a money way.
Yeah.
So it's just, that's how I'm approaching this, is it's just, if you want, here it is. And I appreciate anybody who even considers it.
I'm almost tempted to include the link for Recycle Bin viewers first.
I'm still working on getting it all spruced up.
Disregard.
Yeah. And this isn't an ad. It's just, this is what's on our mind, honestly. That's what this podcast is.
Yeah, I mean, it's all surrounding the next video. And Patreon or not, I think it's worth being excited about. This video drop.
Taking the Patreon out of the entire conversation, I'm so fucking excited for this video.
Oh, yeah, like, regardless of Patreon, if you just spend some of your time watching our next video, like, that's all we could ever ask for.
Yeah, and, like, think of it like this. All of the growth that we've been getting over this past year has been because we've been taking creative risks and all this stuff.
Yeah.
And we couldn't do any of this stuff without the audience.
Well, the audience is taking risks with us.
Exactly. And I feel like I'm sure there's a good bit of people out there who miss OGFPT. They bring it up sometimes.
Yeah.
I hope Recycle Bin is able to, like, fill some of those holes.
Oh, yeah.
Because we're just being ourselves
here. We'll have to include
here.
more fart jokes here.
Yeah.
Probably.
Ha ha. Yeah. But no, it's just, we don't want to stop being goofy Jern and Bern.
Yeah.
But it's just like, these videos just feel so good to make, and they're so fucking cool, bro.
Yeah.
I love this shit. It's so awesome.
Well, before we move on to the rest of the podcast, another ad? Speaking of money.
Go ahead. We should.
Bern, I'm going to say the scariest thing you're going to hear today.
Oh, goodness. Go ahead.
For the next project, we're not allowed to use Notion.
We can't do it.
Wouldn't it be impossible?
It'd be impossible.
We require Notion. It is a necessity for us to keep everything organized, collaborate together, keep the whole team on track. Mm-hmm. Literally, no joke, even if they weren't sponsoring us, we'd be using Notion for every project, and it would be terrible without them. That should be enough of a pitch for Notion.
Pretty much.
But I hear there's a new feature, Notion AI.
There is. The new Notion AI is a single AI tool that does it all. You can search across Notion and other apps, generate docs in your own style, analyze PDFs and images, and you can even chat with this AI about anything.
I love that.
Yeah.
I will chat about how to make my life better.
And they can help you. The coolest part is Notion AI is connected to multiple knowledge sources. It uses AI knowledge from GPT-4 and Claude to chat with you about any topic. It can search across thousands of Notion docs in seconds, quickly answer any question, and now with AI connectors, Notion AI can search across Slack discussions, Google Docs, Sheets and Slides, and more tools like GitHub and Jira are coming soon.
What about privacy, Bern?
Oh, they're the most private. It's awesome. Notion AI's partners are contractually prohibited from using your data to train their own AI models, and Notion AI respects the permissions of your content, so it'll only reference content that you give them access to.
We love that. Notion is used by over half of the Fortune 500 companies and Front Page Tech.
That's a lot.
And teams that use Notion send less email, cancel more meetings, save time searching for their work, and reduce spending on tools, which helps everyone stay on the same page. Try Notion for free when you go to notion.com/recyclebin. That's the name of the show. That's all lowercase letters. Notion.com/recyclebin to try the powerful, easy-to-use Notion AI today. And when you use our link, you're supporting the show, which is also neat.
Oh, yeah, it is. Notion.com/recyclebin. Thank you, Notion. Welcome back from the ads.
Welcome back from it.
Thanks for enjoying the ad. Anyway.
What else you got for us, Bern?
You know what? We're already at an hour and 3 minutes on our recorder.
Spicy.
Yeah, but I kind of want to talk about the Marquez stuff.
Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah, let's talk about that. And also, that doesn't matter. They love
that's true.
They love
right.
long stuff. I couldn't listen to us for 2 hours.
And
but...
you know, before I get into it, I just want to say, not about the Marquez stuff. It was in my notes. I just want to say because I'm excited about this. There's a new World of Warcraft classic server being launched next week.
Okay,
on the 21st.
So you won't be here for the podcast? Is that
no,
what you're
I
saying?
will. I need this video done by then.
Okay.
So we got to get
good
cracking.
luck.
Yeah. But anyway, so
At least your end maybe can be done by then.
Yeah. So for anybody who isn't up to date, Marques Brownlee, MKBHD, kind of the guy in our category of the internet.
Yeah.
He made a bit of a misstep. Made a bit of a mistake.
Man, just not his
recently.
last few months, huh?
Yeah, and the reason I want to talk about it is it.
I mean, we should say what happened first. Before.
Yeah, so Marques did for one, it was like a double whammy situation.
Yeah, unfortunate.
Marques uploaded a fully sponsored video by DJI.
Like a dedicated DJI video, yeah.
Yeah, and the hardware he showed off was neat, but that's... People fucking hate dedicated sponsor videos.
Yeah.
So that was misstep number one.
Well, especially if you're usually not doing that. And
right.
It just pops out of nowhere.
He's never been that guy. Some people are used to it.
We have a strict policy here that
never.
We do not do that.
Yeah.
We have turned down every dedicated video that has come our way, other than one.
Right.
It was 2016, and it was a video for Dyson.
Oh, and
it was terrible.
Never again.
Never again.
There are some creators I watch that the commenters and the viewers are more accepting. They'll be like, man's got to eat. I get it.
Yeah. No disrespect or knock to anyone doing just
sponsored
dedicated videos. Yeah, we just don't do them.
No, and then a lot of people viewer-wise fucking hate it. So there's that.
Yeah. I mean, do your dedicated. You're making more money than us.
Yeah,
do it.
Get that bag, King. I don't care. But yeah. And so there was that. There was backlash to that immediately, and then. I don't really know why, but towards the end of this video, Marques included a clip of him test driving a car.
Yeah, it was like we could put a camera anywhere.
It was a Lamborghini, and he's just proving a point that you could wear this camera on your chest or whatever and record POV driving. And he full sent this.
He went real fast.
This supercar or Lamborghini on a local road, a residential, 35 mile an hour children in the area playing road, and so fast that they blurred the speedometer. The main speedometer.
It wasn't like they were oblivious or
they knew this was wrong.
Yeah, they blurred out the speedometer, which I hear is common when YouTubers are sending cars like that.
In car YouTubers, a lot of them will do that if it's blaringly obvious. Glaringly obvious.
Unsafe.
Yeah, that it's reckless driving.
Yeah, it's against YouTube guidelines.
Yeah, it doesn't make it any better. And who knows? Maybe Marques was inspired by these car YouTubers. I mean, he does have autofocus.
Yeah.
I mean, for one, I love a lot of car YouTubers, and I watch them all the time. I watch them do that, and I'm like, man, that looks kind of fun, but also, what the fuck are you doing? Anyway, so Marques full sent this car, going very fast, blurred the speedometer. For whatever reason, Lamborghini, because maybe it's they want the passenger to know, wow, you're going so quick. That's cool. There's a supplementary speedometer to the passenger side that they did not blur.
Didn't catch that one.
Marques was he maxed out at 96 miles an hour in a 35 zone.
There was
it was the speed limit was clearly posted.
Had a sign for children playing.
He passed it and it said slow. There are children in the area that could be.
Yeah.
So that happened. And
just to be fair, I think we should read his apology.
He did post an apology. Now before the apology he posted, he I think realized the mistake he had made, or rather that what he did was caught by people, and he trimmed it out using the YouTube editor.
Yeah.
And made a call out. The thing that really sits badly with me is that I'm sure that on a level, on maybe a majority level, his apology was real and authentic.
Oh, yeah.
But the way the whole event transpired felt more that he only did this because he got caught. Because he cut it out of the video and he pinned a comment that said hey guys, cut out the unnecessary driving part at the end of the video, and I'm also taking your feedback on sponsored videos to heart.
I hear you on the sponsored video thing as well.
Right. So it's it was an acknowledgement of both backlashes. But like
there's further backlash to that because
it's like he's covering it up or something.
He apologized, but he did that on Twitter. So like the issue was on YouTube, and I don't know if there's a good way to apologize. I mean, you could have posted this as the top comment.
Yeah, right.
This was his apology on Twitter. Last video I did something pretty stupid. You might have already seen it, but maybe not, so I'll address it here. There was a clip with the action cam of me test driving a car and going way too fast.
Yeah.
T-O. Way too fast.
Oh, I think he definitely wrote that quick.
Absolutely inexcusable and dangerous.
Yeah.
I've since cut it out of the video with YouTube's editor tool. I also understand that this looks like I'm covering it up, but it's the right thing to do. There's no reason to leave that clip in. There was no reason to include it in the first place, and I would never want to make it seem okay by leaving it in this video. I'm well aware of the Streisand effect, and I know everything on the internet lives forever, but I think that's the best decision right now. All I can do is apologize and promise never to do anything close to that stupid again. That's a terrible example to set, and I'm sorry for it. And that's his last tweet as well, so they've been kind of quiet since then. Can't blame him.
I bet. The thing that like is really bothersome is that like, first of all, cars on their own are extremely dangerous, and there's such a number of like fatalities every year that are related directly to traffic incidents.
Yeah.
And like, here is like, I you may disagree, but like I consider Marquez to be like the best of us in a way. Like,
yeah,
there's a reason he's on top, right? Like, he's kind of our guy. Mm-hmm. Like, this is dude.
At least here in the U.S., it's him and like Mr. Who's the Boss.
Right. Like, I hate how like my brain works because this feels like he's Harvey Dent. And it's like he's been corrupted.
Yeah.
It's like he made such a misstep. Like, not only was it reckless, but like there was people in the comments being like, I don't know, I haven't researched this. I'm just echoing what the sentiment was. People saying like, well, you just recorded yourself doing a felony.
Yeah.
And it's like, shouldn't something happen? There were people calling out that in some European countries, if you were to drive that far over the speed limit, that's like your car is forcibly removed from you by the government, sold, and then your license is also removed. Like you lose your license. Jesus. So it's like this is quite the event.
I mean, here's the thing. I'm not at all saying that Marquez is like behind the scenes secretly a bad person.
Not at
all.
Nope, not at all.
All I'm saying is the people that you watch are all people too.
Exactly.
And I'm sure the listeners and viewers, you've made a mistake in your life a couple times. Now just imagine that you make that mistake in front of everybody. Yeah. I'm sure it would feel unfortunate to be judged as heavily for that mistake being on camera.
Yeah.
I do recognize that this is not a great thing to do off or on camera.
No,
and so the Wallpapers app, that was one thing last month.
The man just collecting L's.
That was one thing.
Yeah.
But that's like, okay, personally, before they launched that wallpaper app, I think that was just a side effect of them being out of touch. Like Marquez is a bit out of touch of like
maybe
average consumers, and
he's probably been in his own creative bubble with his channels. I mean, they operate on a different level.
Yeah, they just misjudged the release of that app. Okay, that's fine, and they fixed it.
Right,
they fixed the issues there. What is it? Panels?
I think
panels. They fixed panels for the most part. Mm-hmm. This is one of those things where like. Yeah, there's no correcting this one. There's just like all you can do is say you're sorry and keep going. I don't know. I'm not the viewers, and we've been busy working on our own thing, so I don't know what the public sentiment is here. Like, what do they want to happen? Do they want there to be consequences? Is that when they're going to be happy?
I think, honestly, being in Marquez's situation and then apologizing, like, I don't know what people could want from him. I mean, other than obviously to like do better. I did see some people talking about like legal action should happen. Okay. I'm not about to pass judgment. I agree with you completely. Like he's just a dude.
Yeah.
I do feel like, I mean, I know his team is small, right? And I know that like maybe some of them even watch our content. I know some of them do.
Yeah.
But like not only like the way I see it is that he made a mistake, and then the people, like the chain of events, like how the video eventually got uploaded, like the people involved also like kind of failed him. So like in a sense that nobody was like, hey, this is a mistake to put this out.
Yeah, like how do you not catch the other speedometer?
Well, not even just that, but like the action itself.
Yeah.
It's like if I had footage of you doing that, I would be like, hey, listen, we gotta talk.
We're different though.
Well, I just mean like
we're best friends in real life, and we treat each other that way regardless.
Yeah,
and we are like equals in this business. Marquez is not that way.
Well,
like I don't know what the vibes are there, but he's definitely the boss.
Yeah, I would think,
you know,
he's
and
the
there's
boss. Yeah, maybe there's no.
I'm not saying if you spoke up you're going to get fired. I'm just saying like maybe the power dynamic is a bit weird.
Right. I just mean the best case scenario for me in this situation is that this is a big wake up call. I'm sure, like I know for certain, at least to my knowledge, he has never experienced such a like controversy. And I know he's a smart dude, and I know he's a well-meaning guy. And I hope that like this is a good wake up call, and not just with like sponsored videos, like creatively. I hope he's able to get in touch with like what his fans actually want, and I hope that like reckless driving, stuff like that, it never goes well. There's no upside. So I hope that is also something he does something about with his own life.
It's like, I mean, we're the same way. Perhaps more so because we are in less places than Marquez. Like, I'm not posting on Twitter. You're not posting on Twitter.
Yeah, we just don't.
We're not on Instagram.
Don't care.
We're not on TikTok.
Yeah.
You're getting a very heavily curated view of a person that you follow. Everything is meticulously, for the most part, decided on what you are, what the things you're going to see and the things you're not going to see. Even we do that. You don't know us personally because we have made it that way.
Yeah, we operate disconnectedly.
So
is that a word?
Marquez has been doing this 13 years, maybe a little bit
longer
more
than us. Yeah, arguably.
It was bound to happen eventually. You know, you can only curate so much, and
with that much online, there's a point that something's going to get through the net.
And just keep in mind, like he's been doing this for that long, and this was like kind of his first public actual screw up. Other than panels, this was like on a moral level that I think people have an issue with this morally.
Oh yeah, I mean the amount of people who've experienced like a loss of life from like a traffic collision is crazy high.
Well, especially people that have children and like you know.
Yeah.
So I don't want to say you're overreacting and to stop, but I mean I think it's fair to cut him some slack sometimes. And just like, it's hard to judge him on this one act. Like, it's hard to make a judge of his character through this 2-second clip.
I think there are things that we can objectively say about this situation. He made a creative misstep with the sponsored video.
Yeah.
That's out of touch. And he just made a literal mistake in his life with the reckless driving. I mean, everybody could do it. I mean... Like, I love cars. I drive spiritedly sometimes.
Spiritedly.
I do my best to be safe. I try to like I like to go a little fast on an on-ramp to a freeway or a highway. Or it's like, whatever, right? There are places that you can be safe. I mean, everybody has talked, I'm sure that there's a million different ways Marquez wishes he would have handled this. Renting out a track, closing a road, whatever. He's got... a lot of connections and money. I'm sure there's a million different ways he could have handled this. And I'm sure he knows
the video
it better.
Was sponsored.
Yeah, I'm sure he knows this better than anybody. So regardless, made a mistake, and that's it.
It's just really unfortunate that like it's a mistake in a video where it literally was not necessary to be in there at all. Like that wasn't part of the story. That wasn't like...
It's even weirder that like
if it was a car video and this is a mistake that was made in a car video.
That's what I was going to say.
That's like, one clip out of all of those. Yeah, I'm not surprised.
I'm surprised it didn't happen on autofocus. Right, yeah, exactly.
But like, I don't know. Like, if you're blurring out the thing, like, there's so many other activities you could do with an action cam.
Oh, yeah.
If you're blurring out the speedometer, maybe just cut the clip.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised, like I said, if maybe he felt inspired. I'm sure he watches a lot of car YouTubers. Car YouTube is awesome. There's a lot of great creators out there. We watch one all the time, the Topher. And he is guilty of doing similar stuff sometimes. So nobody's perfect. But that's it, really.
It's also, if you're driving that fast on, I almost feel bad saying this, but like if you're driving that fast on the road, it's probably not your first time on the road.
Oh yeah, like driving like that.
He probably knew the area, and that's just like what, like Marquez, man.
I know. I'm trying so hard to like keep. The man made a mistake, and I'm trying not to like. I don't know how he would hear what I'm saying, but I don't want to beat him down further. Because that's just not my play.
Oh,
I'm not that person.
I'm sure he's hearing worse from...
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm sure, he's
going to be okay. Everything's going to be fine.
Overall, that's about it with the Marquez stuff. I hope he makes better choices in the future. And if he ends up in legal trouble over it, then so be it. I mean, you made your bed. You got to lay in it.
Yeah.
I want the best for him because I know he's a great creator and I think he's a cool dude. Mm-hmm. That's about it, right? For that,
I would just feed into it. Just make a video of you turning yourself in.
Oh! I thought you
like
were
Harvey
saying,
Dent.
Holy
I'm
shit,
Batman.
Holy shit! I thought you were gonna say he should turn heel and just be like, you know what? Fuck this. I'm driving fast everywhere. Fuck you. Like now we just see Dark Marquez.
Oh, man.
No,
That's amazing.
I misunderstood what you were gonna say.
Okay, no, not turn heel. Oh man,
good lord.
Okay, last ad.
Christmas and the biggest holidays of the year are fast approaching. And what better way to figure all of that out, gifts for your loved ones, than with Uncommon Goods?
Oh, Uncommon. Man, that saves me a lot of trouble. I was thinking about shopping for Common Goods.
That's a common mistake.
Okay.
Uncommon Goods looks for products that are of high quality, unique, and often handmade or made in the U.S. They have the most meaningful, out-of-the-ordinary gifts anywhere. They even have gifts you can personalize. I literally just got gifts for everybody except myself. I got you, Mr. Prosser, poop tablets.
You did give me poop tablets. They work amazing, by the way.
Yeah, you
They're
pop
great.
them in the toilet before you use the bathroom. They make it smell nice. I got my lovely wife a cup, a lovely mug that has all the different boobies.
I'm sorry?
Booby birds.
Oh, okay.
All over. I got my little son a little watch. Little
adorable.
Cute. Oh, it's adorable. I love Uncommon Goods.
And when you shop at Uncommon Goods, you're supporting artists and small independent businesses. Many of their handcrafted products are made in small batches. So shop now before they sell out this holiday season because it's coming real fast.
Oh, it's coming on us real quick. To get 15% off your next gift, go to uncommongoods.com/recyclebin. That's uncommongoods.com/recyclebin for 15% off. Don't miss out on this limited time offer. Uncommon Goods. We're all out of the ordinary.
Well, one of us is.
That's me.
So tech podcast, huh?
What?
This is a tech podcast?
Oh yeah.
Kinda, technically.
I forgot.
Like on paper.
Yeah. Paper tech podcast.
If you are listening or watching this podcast.
Okay, where's this going?
When you're done with this, don't do it now. Do it after.
Okay. Am I included?
Yeah.
Okay.
Go watch The Penguin.
Oh, I see. The show.
On HBO.
I like how you call it HBO. It's called Max.
I mean, it's made by HBO. I think it's literally an HBO original is what it says.
I know. I'm just
I could be wrong.
Just being stupid.
It is on Max, yeah. If you have a Max subscription, do it tonight. Do it right now after this podcast goes up, after you've listened to it.
All right, here's the thing. You have 30 seconds to pitch this. Tell me why people should watch The Penguin. 3, 2, 1, go.
Ultra grounded, ultra realism, and for the first time, and I think you could put Heath Ledger's Joker in this category, but other than that, maybe more so than that, for the first time, they have created a villain you actually root against. You want Batman to beat him.
Okay.
There you go.
That's really big. You got 10 more seconds.
That's it.
That's it.
It's incredible. It's like The Sopranos, but
I've heard that
the
comparison.
Batman universe. Yeah,
that was a really good pitch.
I think you should watch it.
Yeah, I want to.
You too.
Yeah,
it's a very, very well written show. There are no filler episodes just to get you through the season.
How many episodes are there in the season?
8.
Are they all an hour or are they longer?
Yeah, give or take.
Okay.
It's like I think they're in talks for a season 2, but when the original launch of this, it was a limited series. This was going to be it.
Yeah.
And if you watched the Pattinson movie, the Batman with Robert Pattinson, Matt Reeves directed it, created it.
Same director, right, for the Penguin?
Yeah,
that's crazy. That's really cool.
Or at least created, like, you know.
Oh, I
don't
see.
know. I don't know if every episode is directed by him, but
he's had like overarching.
Yeah,
that's good. That's cool.
If you liked the Batman, the first movie, you owe it to yourself to stay in that universe and like further invest yourself, because this I guess you could call is the prequel to the Batman 2.
That's cool.
This will get you to that next movie, and it makes that next movie matter like 10 times more than the first one. Because
that's exciting.
You just spent time with a villain, a criminal that you kind of dance between the season of like humanizing him and like feeling a little bit for him. Okay.
This oh no, you're gonna say something big.
In this show, you watch this man betray everyone around him.
This is like lining up with some of your favorite shows of all time.
Oh yeah,
you love that
watch
shit.
this villain betraying everyone around him, and you still find yourself rooting for him, and then somehow, some way, he betrays you.
That's awesome.
The viewer.
Yeah,
and it's awful, and it makes you so angry, but not in like, oh, fuck, the show's ruined.
Yeah.
They make you angry in a way where like,
okay, get him.
He needs to
now
get the
him.
fuck beat out of him.
That's awesome.
I need Batman to come get him. So yeah, go watch that show.
We're definitely going to watch it together.
It's so good, dude.
Yeah. You know, you have some really goodwill. You have a lot of goodwill with me in regards to show recommendations, because you almost forcibly, like you almost grabbed me by my neck and were like, you're going to watch this. What's Better Call Saul?
Oh, yeah. I tried for months.
I'm happy you did. That show was amazing.
Yeah, I think Better Call Saul is better than Breaking Bad. It's more, it's like
I think I'm
deeper.
With you. I think, I think if they were to, after making Better Call Saul, if they were to like almost remake Breaking Bad with like the experience of making Better Call Saul, I think that would make Breaking Bad a better show. It's almost like if we could remake the Tim doc, since we've now like, oh shit, we did a great job, and now we're doing a better job.
Yeah.
I feel like Vince Gilligan and crew could probably
Well, it's like Breaking Bad is just a full-on adrenaline experience from beginning to end. Like that show does not let up on you, and you are just put through it the entire time. Whereas Better Call Saul is like, there are those moments, but there are also moments that you're just spending time with the character as a person. And I think that's like it, because you're doing that, it makes those bigger moments feel heavier.
Exactly. I agree with you completely.
And I think that's what Penguin is. It's like, the Batman was 3 hours of awesome, like an awesome Batman movie.
I did love that movie.
But this, because you have 8 episodes, you get to spend more time in the world and in the universe, and it's just like, not the whole, like, I think I was on episode 6 where I'm like, this is fantastically written. This has gone perfectly so far. Like, I have no complaints, no pacing complaints, no nothing. But it was so good that then you're nervous for a Game of Thrones moment.
For like the dismount.
Yeah, you're
if they
like,
could land it. Yeah,
they're in episode 6. You know, there's only 2 episodes left, and you're like, how do you get out of this show?
Yeah.
Like, the way you're setting this up, you're making promises that if you don't deliver, it's going to hurt like the 6 episodes I just watched.
Retroactively, you're going to ruin the rest of the show,
And because now, like, Game of Thrones would be the best TV show ever made, and now I can't even think about it in that light because of the last 2 seasons.
Yeah, I barely want to read the
really
books
tainted it.
if they ever come out,
But they, not only did they stick the landing on the finale, they surprised me. I was standing up in the living room with my hands on my head, like, couldn't believe what I was seeing. You go watch it.
Yeah. Wow.
You're welcome, HBO.
Sponsored by Max. No, joking. But
I
for
wish.
real.
I mean, if you want to.
Call us.
Yeah. I'll dress as the Penguin.
Oh, my God.
Colin Farrell is crazy, dude. His range in the prosthetics, like, Heath Ledger did an incredible job at making you forget that's Heath Ledger. Like, you're just like, that is the Joker.
Yeah.
This is like, because of his performance, but also because he looks nothing like Colin Farrell. He sounds nothing like Colin Farrell. He sounds like, Colin Farrell has like an accent.
Yeah.
And it is skinny and handsome And the Penguin is the opposite of all that. And he sounds like Tony Soprano. It's like
it's gross.
It's
He's
crazy.
a bird.
Final Cut Pro 11's out too, and it sucks. Oh, thanks for watching.
No. You fucked me up. I was gonna say something. God,
what?
Dang, I don't know. I forgot.
Was it about the Penguin? HBO? Colin Farrell?
Oh, it was Colin. Thank you. When you said season 2, I don't know if this is a real thing that I read, or maybe I just made it up in my head because it looked like he went through hell.
Okay.
I really hope there's almost not a season 2, so he doesn't have to live in that prosthetic anymore.
Oh, because he loves it.
Oh, really? I thought he hated it.
Yeah.
Maybe I misread something.
I think so. I know that like Jim Carrey historically hated the Grinch thing. Like that was he
said it was torture,
like CIA level torture. Maybe Colin Farrell had said something like that.
I think
because I also thought the same thing, but I saw after the series ended, I was watching an interview where he called it liberating.
Oh,
like
probably
it's
creatively.
the only role in his life where he could completely shed himself because he looked like somebody else. Like,
yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, so chills just thinking about it. You gotta go watch it.
Okay.
Final Cut Pro 11 is out. It was at the time of this recording. I think it was yesterday, maybe the day before. Not sure. Some new AI features, AI captions. So now you don't have to like.
That's pretty cool.
Final Cut's been really good about having extensions and plugins that you can buy and purchase that work like in conjunction with the software. Like it expands the capabilities of
really
Final
cool.
Cut. And Apple has started to add some of the things you could buy before into the thing that they just made.
Okay.
None of it is as good as the things I've purchased in the past.
I see.
There's some masking capabilities and rotoscoping capabilities that it's named something else. I forget what it is, but it's like
not as good as our plugins.
It's
That's
like
unfortunate.
It's good enough for TikTok.
It's probably really exciting for like maybe people who are making videos on like not on the scale we're at currently.
Oh yeah,
like
and it's it's free. Like once you purchased it, you spent $200 on this piece of software. It just continues to be an incredible value that keeps delivering over and over and over again. It's like we have a really good chroma key plugin that was hundreds of dollars.
Yeah.
But Final Cut has its own keying thing in there. So it's like if you want to do it, you can do it.
It'll get you there.
It'll get you like a certain percentage of the way there. And it's kind of like that. It's just a default way to do the thing that you could do better if you paid more for, but having it is better than not having it at all. The AI captions are really good. I know people have been using like Captionator or like an extension plugin for that stuff, specifically for TikTok. But that's just sort of integrated directly in. That was in Premiere as well, but Premiere is just the worst. Adobe's the worst.
It's so funny how we can like... I'm actually proud of us. We haven't actually complained much about Apple at all this episode. But it's so funny how we get so excited about non-iPhone stuff now.
Oh yeah, it's great.
Like you're complaining about Final Cut Pro 11.
It's still the best though.
You're still like it's really fucking cool still.
Yeah.
It's
Final
crazy.
Cut's amazing. I don't see myself switching at all. If I was ever going to dabble, I think I would dabble in DaVinci because just the color. That's like the default industry standard color grading.
Yeah, but also the workflow for like editing is completely different, and it's like that would be an interesting experiment.
Yeah, and I'm really good at Final Cut, and if we wanted to switch, I'd take a step back for a little bit to And there's
no reason to switch probably. Honestly.
Yeah, I left Premiere because I was frustrated with Premiere. No one actually makes changes in their life just because. Like it always comes from frustration at some point.
Or right.
And like with Premiere, I don't know how many OG viewers are around that remember this, but 2020 or 2021 to something like that. There was a stage where Premiere, for some reason, just decided on every export to put in one random green broken frame.
Yeah, I remember that.
And it got to a point where I was exporting the video like 8 times and then taking those exports and then cutting together, like putting the puzzle together of all the ones that were clean.
Without a green.
And then trying to export. It was a goddamn catastrophe. It forced me to try Final Cut because it was terrible. And so I'm glad that happened.
You know what? Me too.
Now we only rely on Adobe for one thing, and that's Photoshop.
Honestly, why hasn't Apple come out with like a real...
It's funny you say that.
Is it?
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah. I forgot.
Also this week or last week, I think
Time
they
isn't
acquired
real to me.
Pixelmator.
Yeah, Pixelmator.
I mean, I could be wrong, but I think they acquired Final Cut. I know they acquired Logic.
Yeah.
And I have never personally tried Pixelmator. I'm like Photoshop is the program I've been using the longest.
Talk
in my
about
life.
industry standard.
Yeah, like that.
Yeah. Photoshop is OG.
Yeah, my brain was still developing when I started using that. So like to break that would be hard.
My brain was still developing when I was pirating Photoshop CS3.
Yeah. It was like, well, okay, so obviously we started with Windows Movie Maker.
Obviously.
Like everybody.
Sony Vegas.
Sony Vegas was good to us, man.
Yeah.
I used Sony Vegas for a long time.
A lot of people still use Sony Vegas.
Yeah, really? Do they make it?
I watch YouTubers who still use Sony Vegas.
Yeah, because there's like certain things in Sony Vegas where you can see, like there's certain fonts and text
transitions,
and the drop shadow behind text.
Yeah,
it's like Premiere was good while it lasted, and then it wasn't. But yeah, Photoshop I have never budged from. I've tried GIMP. You remember GIMP?
I remember trying that.
I've tried a few Canva.
I remember that.
Canva's still around. But I've never tried Pixelmator.
Honestly, Adobe better fucking figure it out, because if Apple comes out with an actual competitor for Photoshop,
they're not. Adobe, they have really they have trashed and tarnished their reputation with the subscription model.
Oh yeah,
and they got away with it because there was no competitors. But
it's
now
actually go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, it's actually funny that Adobe is in the position they're in with this, because, like, in so many ways, Apple, like, takes advantage of these opportunities so often. Like, yeah, Apple's first to do certain things, like the headphone jack and whatever.
Yeah.
But, like, so often it's like Samsung, the foldables. They're like, they will, like, figure the market out for Apple. Like, there's clearly people at Apple studying Samsung, like, okay, that didn't work. Yeah, but that did. Okay, people like that. They don't like that.
Yeah.
Adobe is just L after L after L, and Apple's like, keep going.
Yeah.
Let's keep showing us exactly what not to do.
I'm pretty sure there was just a giant class action lawsuit because they are subscription only. And when you sign up for any of the Adobe Creative Suite stuff, you can choose an annual plan, but even if you don't and you choose to pay monthly, you're like signing a year contract. So if you decide that you don't want to continue your subscription, you have to pay your way out.
That's fucked up.
You have to get and it's not clear. And a lot of their like user agreement stuff.
That's just straight up anti-consumer.
Yeah, so they are in a not great spot.
Good. I hope that either Adobe makes their shit way better, or Apple just takes advantage of the dumpster fire and goes, here you go.
And you know what?
Either one.
I'm just going to come out and say it.
Say it. Go off, King.
I am a professional.
Yeah.
We are adults.
Okay.
Pirated Photoshop is a better experience.
Yeah, you don't got to deal with all the Creative Cloud bullshit.
Well, it crashes less. I don't know why it's more stable than the actual thing. But it is more stable. It's more reliable. It's better to use. I tried that a few months ago because I started using Logic instead, so I used Adobe Audition for a while for audio stuff.
Long time.
Yeah, that's gone. Prefer Logic. So Photoshop was the only thing that I was stuck with, and it never worked. And so I'm like, well, if it never works, why am I paying for it? So I got a pirated version that worked better, but Adobe's, I mean,
come on, guys.
They're allowed to do this.
Yeah.
Clearly, I'm using a pirated version, but it like tries to connect to Creative
the servers or whatever.
Cloud, and if it doesn't do that, it just shuts it down for you. Like if they're pretty good at like knowing if the software is legit or not. And the issue is, if you're going to use pirated software, you have to commit to that.
Oh yeah.
Every version of every Adobe product you're using has to be pirated. And I don't want to pirate all. I don't want to be a pirate. So I had only pirated Photoshop, and Adobe Audition was like the thing that was like, hey, that's not a real one. I'm the real one, but that's not the real one. So I pay for Photoshop now. It's like it's like $20 a month for just Photoshop, but it doesn't fucking work. It's always crashing. Yeah. It's not reliable, and it's terrible. Yay, $20 every month.
It's very telling that a pirated version of the software works better than the legit one.
Yeah,
like that's just that shouldn't be the case.
Should not be.
Like,
no.
Yeah.
The only reason that Photoshop is worth paying for is the Creative Cloud part. Because no matter what new computer I buy,
your documents and all
of my Photoshop
things.
files are saved in the cloud, and that's awesome.
Yeah, and man, Apple is gonna fuck them up.
Yeah,
they really have all the tools they need.
Yeah. They're just I'm excited to see Apple's push of Pixelmator. I'm excited to see it get its face turned.
I wonder what they're gonna if Apple does follow through with this. I wonder what they're gonna call it, because
Pixelmator.
What? Just Pixelmator?
I mean,
no.
Logic was Logic.
No, but those names are cool. Pixelmator's not cool. They're gonna come out with Photos Plus or some shit.
Oh god.
I don't know. Yeah,
maybe.
I feel like we have successfully talked ourselves out. You want take a guess? Don't look.
Last time we looked at the time was an hour and 3 minutes, so I want to say hour 45.
That's pretty. That was impressive. Hour 39 and some change.
For someone that is always late to everything, I'm pretty good at guessing durations of things somehow.
Yeah.
Or what time it is in the day.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I think that's it.
That's it.
Oh, great podcast, in my opinion. I loved it. It was a great episode.
We're biased, but yeah.
Yeah. I enjoyed talking to you, Jern.
Wow.
I hope I enjoyed talking. I hope everybody enjoyed hearing us.
You want to go Mario Kart?
No, I'm going to go work.
I thought you were just going to say it for the show.
I mean, yes.
Yeah, let's go Mario Kart.
Wow.
Okay, we'll see you guys next week.
Bye-bye.